I am you, you are me. I am you, you are me. Welcome to your hour, conversations with MYOURGOD. How's that instead of Blue God? My God, your God, our God is really what we're doing, putting words to that which is everywhere, infinite, all the time, inexplicable, cannot be explained in words, beyond mind, ineffable. And yet, the more we surrender and connect and attempt and devote and put our mind aligned with this infinite unconditional love, infinite unconditional abundance. I think it's the first time I'm saying that live here. It came in my conversations. You know about my conversations with God? So what we're recording today, I wrote a year ago. But what I wrote yesterday, Blue God mentioned a new portal that's opening for me, and to emphasize on the golden blue light. And so we have the flickering of the blue and the golden, and we had the golden and the blue, so it's happening. But it's the first time that I hear really the golden blue light, and the blue identified to better help understand as unconditional love, and the gold, instead of just calling it Lakshmi, unconditional abundance. So infinite love, infinite abundance, unconditional love, unconditional abundance, gold and blue, boom, together, mwah, we make gold and blue magic. This is episode 382. I wrote this just under a year ago on Sunday, June 6, 2021. And today is May 28. No, it's not. That doesn't. May 30. I think I said the wrong date in the previous. It happens. May 30, 2022. So just under a year. Remember the day you decided that you would not even drink a sip of alcohol as a special promise in order to activate the power of the last 1%. So I never really had any real relationship with alcohol. I never really drank. I never really felt it. I never really cared so much, even as a teenager, even as a young adult. But if somebody would offer me a drink or something, if I'd be somewhere, and especially my uncle always made champagne, homemade. My uncle and my dad always made wine. So having dinner with them, if they would offer me wine, I wouldn't even want to explain why I didn't care about drinking, didn't want to explain why I was vegetarian, didn't want to explain why I was spiritual. I remember having endless weird conversations about that and just kind of almost going nowhere. So at times I would drink and it would be totally fine. And Yumi is playing with the tripod. Huh, baby? How am I gonna show you? Because this is attached, and if I move this, then it all moves, but you're so adorable just latching onto the tripod legs. So at one point, okay, so Yumi is contributing one way or another. So at one point, I had this revelation, this breakthrough, that I would not drink at all, ever. So that was, and it activated the power of the last 1%, which means that it technically wouldn't make a big difference in relation to actual drinking, right? Because I already didn't really drink. But that 1% turns into a spiritual practice and actually has a multi-dimensional transformative experience. In order to activate the power of the last 1%, remember when you decided to do this on that beautiful day full of grace, because you knew. I knew. Yumi, what are you doing? Okay, she wants me to be closer to the tripod, closer to the camera rather. Because you knew, you already knew enough to almost never drink alcohol. You knew that it lowers the vibration, that it creates blockages and obstructions, that it increases darkness and judgment, both of self and of others. You knew this intuitively, and so this is why you rarely ever drank. But one day you intuited even more deeply. Come, Yumi, come up. She's looking up, but staying down. Even more cleverly, even more profoundly, even more expansively, even more magically, even more mystically. Here she is. Now she finally came up. So we're going to turn. Well, I don't need to turn this. Look at that. I was going to go down, but she came up. Hi, Yumi. Oh, that was short-lived. She just went around and went back down. Okay. Okay. Fine. Be that way. So, even more profoundly, even more expansively, even more magically, even more mystically, even more exponentially, powerfully, and beautifully, you knew about the power of the 1%. You knew that even though you were drinking even less than 1% of the time, you knew that abstaining 100% would now turn it into a spiritual practice, avoiding that last little bit. Avoiding what would be only a few drinks per year would create a quantum reward. The reward would be nonlinear, not proportional to the actual amount of non-consumed alcohol, because you were already not drinking much at all. But you knew intuitively that this would now turn into a mystical practice, a sort of invocation ritual to me, to God. Well, it's been many years already, and the activation happened almost immediately, but the grace is also exponential. And so, know that not only are you still receiving grace solely from that daily renewed vow, but you are also now receiving cumulatively more grace in an exponential way from that very vow. It gets stronger and more graceful with time. That is why it is wise to start earlier. And the same happened when you decided to no longer eat animals. It is crucial to not eat animals. Instead, be the protector of animals. For the animals have a spirit. And so they know. Every animal that you eat knows. He knows that you participated in not protecting it. He knows that you participated in torturing it. She knows you are part of the cruelty and the shameless bigotry. She knows, oh how she knows, and so she can no longer protect you. She can no longer support you, and same for her species and all those connected to her spirit, which in the end is the entire life system and natural ecosystem. It knows. And so in a way, you are distancing yourself from it. In a way, you are honoring the unnatural, the poison that is the current senselessness and selfishness of the modern man. The modern white man. You have always known to at least intend to distance yourselves from this, even though you were born and raised within this paradigm. You always knew, and so you always did what would distance you more and more from this. You did it that day that you decided that you would not even take a sip of alcohol. On that day, you turned away an entire system of control and disconnection. You did it on that day when you decided you would no longer eat animal flesh, knowing that almost all animal flesh now comes from senseless and brutal cruelty and selfish and egoic torture. You have always known that what goes around comes around. You knew, you knew, you knew. Well, you are still reaping the benefits of this decision. And now, exponentially more so even of this. This is what happens when you enter a new phase, a new level, a new beginning. All rises, that is how it becomes an exponential rising. Like the rising tide, all linked, all at the same time, that is how a real rising occurs. And so once again, you are now rising. Rise well and rise high, for the challenges will also rise. That is how the rising will continue. That is how you will continue to soar even higher than you ever have. Gratitude. Recognizing that you are blessed, repeating it over and over until you believe it even more than you believe it right now, because in believing you receive grace and love. Being grateful, especially for the challenges, this is how you always assure that you will soar higher than you ever dreamt possible. Look up, always look up, and model the birds soaring flawlessly in the sky. Let them inspire you. You were born to do the same. I love you. I am you. You are me. This video is long enough, and so I'll see you in episode 383, because I love you.